Hello everybody, in this video we are going to learn how to tell time. So the first thing that we need to know is that there are two types of clocks. The first type of clock is called a digital clock. This is a picture of a digital clock. The second type of clock is called an analog clock. This is a picture of an analog clock. So first I'm going to teach you how to tell time using digital clocks. So the first thing we have to look at is the first number here. In this picture, it is a 5. So this tells us what the hour is. So in this picture, the hour is 5. The second thing we have to look at is the numbers over here, following these two dots or the colon. These numbers tell us the minute. In this picture, the number is 0, so we are at 0 minutes. So the time is 5 o'clock. In this picture, we can see that the first number over here in the minutes is a 0. So when we see this, we have to look over here at this number to determine what the minute is. So we see a 2. So we know that the time is 5:02, or 2 minutes later than 5 o'clock. So now it's your turn to try. What time is shown here? That's right, 10:25. We know this because we see a 10 over here, which is the hour, and a 25 over here in the minutes. So it is 10:25. Now I'm going to teach you how to tell time using an analog clock. Now this is a little bit harder, but I know that you all can do it. So listen closely. So the first thing we need to know here is that these two long lines, or arrows, are called hands. They move around the clock in this direction. The long hand here is called the minute hand, and we look at this to know what the minute is. The short hand over here is the hour hand, and we look where this is pointing to determine what the hour is. So first, let's look at the hour hand. In this class, the hour hand is pointing to the 12. So we know that it is 12 o'clock. In this picture, the hour hand is pointing straight towards the 3. So we know that it is 3 o'clock. Now you may notice that there is no longer hand or minute hand in this picture, and that's just to make it simpler so we can just focus on the hour hand. So the important thing that we need to remember is that wherever this hand is pointing, that is the hour. So here it's pointing to the 3, it's 3 o'clock. Here it's pointing to the 12, it's 12 o'clock. Now one thing that can be a little confusing is when this hour hand is not pointing directly towards any number. In this picture, we can see that the hand is pointing right in between the 3 and the 4, right about here. So it might be confusing to know what time is telling us, but it's still saying that it's 3 o'clock because it has not yet reached the 4. So any time that the clock is between this point and about this point, we can say that it's 3 o'clock. But as soon as this hand points to the 4, right here, then we would be saying that it's 4 o'clock, and it would be 4 o'clock at any point between here and right about here. And right when the hand starts pointing towards the 5, it would be 5 o'clock, and so on, the whole way around the clock. So now that we understand the hour hand, let's take a look at the minute hand. Now this is confusing because we can't just look right to the number that the hand is pointing to determine what minute it's telling us. We have to remember that for each hour there are 5 minutes represented on the clock. So here we have hour 1, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. So let's count the minutes together. Let's pretend that we are the minute hand. So we have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 55 minutes, and back to 0. Now if the hand is pointing anywhere between these markers, we just simply would count it like it's a ruler. So here we have 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then 5 minutes, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it goes like this the whole way around the clock until we get back to 0. So now let's look at some examples. So here, the hour hand is pointing to the 12, and the minute hand is pointing towards the 1. But let's not forget, this doesn't mean that it's 12:01. It actually means that it's 12:05, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes in between the 12 and the 1. Here, we can see the hour hand is pointing straight at the 1, so we know the hour is 1. And the minute hand is over here pointing towards the 9. But remember, this doesn't mean that it's 1:09 because we have to count our 5s. So we say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So this is 1:45. Now I'll let you guys try this third example by yourselves. And as you may have figured out, this clock is saying that it is 6:30. The shorthand here is pointing to the 6, so we know that the hour is 6. And the longer hand, the minute hand here, is also pointing towards the 6. That doesn't really mean 6, that means 30. So it is 6:30. So we just learned a lot of information. Let's take a quick recap. So there are two kinds of clocks, a digital clock and an analog clock. When reading a digital clock, we first look at this number here to tell us the hour. Then, after the colon, we look at these numbers here to tell us the minute. So here it is 1:08. When reading an analog clock, we have to look at the hands, these things here. So for the hour, we have to look at the shorthand and see which number it's pointing right to. So here we have a 3. So we know the hour is 3. And then we look at the minute hand. But we have to remember that we can't just say the number that this is pointing to. We have to remember our 5s. So here it's pointing right at the 0 point, so we know it's 3 o'clock exactly. But if our minute hand was pointing over here instead, we would have to say 5:10. It is 3:10. So 3:10. So now, one quick thing I'm going to go over. If the minute hand is in between a number, like let's say it's right here, we count our 5s all the way around. We did this before. This is 45. Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way to 45. Then we have to count the individual spots in between. So we have 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. So if you look at this hand right here, it would be saying that it is 46 for the minutes. So we look back at the hour hand, it's 3. It would be 3:46 if we were to look at this hand right here. So if you have any questions, please write them down. We will go over them in class. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video.